rishama vayam tava. This was the last verse. This is the guardian of the world and its peoples, Bisham Gopa, the shepherd of all these herds. All that is born moves by his rays and is compelled by his flame. Both the two-footed and the four-footed creatures. This is the rich and great thought awakening of the dawn within. With him for friend we cannot come to harm. So Sri Aurobindo puts him, Agni, as a rich and great thought awakening of the dawn within. So if we can imagine awakening of the dawn within, that would be the flame. It is him who calls to the dawn to come, and it is the dawn's awakening within which is calling the dawn to come from above. It fits to that idea of that the yoga is done by the divine within us. That the flame itself, our aspiration, is the action of the divine. Okay, we are moving to a new verse. Tuvam advaryuh upahota si purviyah prashasta pota janusha purohitah vishvavidvan artvijya dhira pushyasi agnesakye ma rishama vayantava. This is the priest who guides the march of the sacrifice, the first and the ancient, who calls to the gods and gives the offerings. His is the command, and his the purification. From his birth he stands in front the vichar of our sacrifice. He knows all the works of this divine priesthood. Artvijya, for he is the thinker who increases in us. Dhira pushyasi. With him for friend we cannot come to harm. I will go word by word. Tvam advaryu, you are the advaryu. Uta hotasi, and you are the hotar. These are the priests of different functions, different faculties. One is Hota, who is summoner of the gods. He is the priest of Rig Veda, actually. And Advaryu is of Yajurveda. He is the one who pronounces the sacrificial formula, Yajunshi, Advaryu. So he is in charge of connecting heaven and earth, Advaryu, yes? Whereas Hotar is the one who invokes, who starts the movement of summoner of the gods. He invokes the gods as aspiration from below, so to say. And there's Prashasta is another, and Pota is another, names of different priests. Many do not even translate these priests. They leave them as they are, Prashastar, Potar. Sri Aurobindo translates them. The first and ancient who calls to the gods, that is Hota, and gives the offering, Advaryu. Priest who guides the march of the sacrifice, the Advaryu, and gives the offering, Hota. Interestingly, that Hota, although he invokes, it's from root Juhoti, yes, from root Hve, Hu and Hve, they are kindred roots, to call and to make oblation. So to call, to invoke, and to offer, to give something put something into the fire, both. So when we offer, we spoke about this most probably already. When we offer something, we call. We can't offer without calling. So when we call the devata, we have something to offer. Otherwise, why should we call? It's nowadays we can call someone without offering, calling for getting something, yes, from them instead of offering something to them. So here it's just the opposite. You cannot call anyone without having some offering. So offering and calling is in one action of Hotar, the summoner of the gods, and who is making the offering. That's why Sri Aurobindo puts in one sentence, Hotasi Purvya, you are the first ancient Purvya who calls to the gods and gives the offering. In one word, Hotar. He is the command Prashasta, and his is the command. That is, he is Prashasta who commands, and his is purification, Pota. Pota is the one who purifies Soma to pour into the flame. From his birth, Janusha, or by his birth literally, he stands in front, the vichar of our sacrifice, Purohitah. Purohitah literally established in front of our journey, of our constant growth. By birth, he is the leader of our journey.
About the word vicar, I've just looked it up, and it's an ecclesiastical representative. So in this case, I guess it can stand for the
Yes, I was reading
representative.
it as vichara in Sanskrit. Yes.
No, I
Meaning
understand.
the same thing, vicar. Yes, thank
Oh,
you.
it's the same meaning. That's interesting that it has
Let
the
me
same
check,
root.
because I was so used to this word already. I thought it was that it was Sanskrit. Sri Aurobindo leaves sometimes Sanskrit words.
Yes, so you have a deeper understanding of the meaning of the word than my dictionary does. That's good.
Vicharati is to go move in different directions or move. But vichara, I want to see with longer. Proceeding, change, pondering, doubt, dispute. No, probably not. No such meaning. Sorry. Somehow I kind of, for a long time, for many years, meeting this vikar, I didn't know that it was that. Okay, thank you for clarifying this.
It's very minor, but thank you for your insight onto the root of the word.
Sri
That's
Aurobindo
pretty
uses
wonderful.
sometimes these words, yes, from the religious literature, which I am not aware, because I was born in the atheistic country. We didn't follow the prescriptions of the religion, so I do not know those terms. Not
Sure.
aware of them. Great. From his birth, he stands in front as the Purohita, or the leader of our sacrificial journey, of our growth of consciousness. He knows all the works of this divine priesthood, Vishwa, Artvijya. It's from Ritvik. Ritvik is another priest who knows the seasons, who knows how to sacrifice according to the time frame. Yes. The other day I discussed this with some Jyotishi, and I was asking him why these, nakshatras and grahas, what do they really represent? And he says it is like archetypes in time. They enter when the time is shifting. You have to work out another archetype, or another kind of setting of possibilities is coming into play. So all these nakshatras and grahas, they indicate this game of different possibilities in time. They are kind of mapping time. So to know what is coming and what is to be done in a particular time, Ritvig is this priesthood, yes? Ritvij, literally the one who sacrifices according to the time. So you know Vidvan, all Vishvani, Artvijyani in classical Sanskrit, all the Ritvig's office, all the prescriptions of this priest. Dhira Pushyasi, and you are all the works of the divine priesthood, and you are the thinker Dhira. He is the thinker who increases in us. Pushyasi, you grow as the wise one, or as the one who has the power to focus or concentrate the consciousness on any object of sense. Dhira, from Ruddhi, to focus, to concentrate consciousness, to fix consciousness on any object of sense. So that's why he is wise. Wise because he has the capacity to know everything. Because by concentration we can know everything. It's actually knowledge by identity. Yes? By holding onto a particular subject or object, we can come into this contact, inner contact, and know it through us, through our identity with it. So he is Dhira, and he is growing in us, becoming stronger and stronger. With him in us, we get this new capacity or greater capacity of the growth. Of that.
So, Vladimir, I have a question here. Does Agni therefore mean consciousness? The flame of consciousness within us that has to grow and grows in according
and
to
consciousness also, yes, consciousness and power of consciousness. It's because consciousness we usually misunderstand as something without power, but this is really a power of consciousness.
Thank you.
These two are always together in the Veda.
Together, yes, together.
In the post-Vedic, they shift. There is kind of a drift. Power is left somewhere else, and consciousness is elsewhere. So you have to drop power and go to consciousness. Yes, I'm going to dissolve yourself in some blissful state, leaving all undone, so to say, leaving power behind. Power becomes a thing which we should not follow, something which is not, what to say, desirable for the yoga. So you have to leave everything behind of that kind. So you cannot manage life, you cannot manage prakriti, so you leave power behind. And this is not the case in the Veda. There is a power of consciousness which is within our reach. We have to kindle it, to nourish it, to offer to it our life, our thoughts, our feelings, our being, and then grow with it. Constantly grow in consciousness, evolve. It's a very beautiful vision of the evolution of consciousness together with instruments. Yeah.
Correct.
Not
In that
them.
sense, he's the vicar.
That is the
vicar.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. Robin wants to say something. No, Robin? Yeah, you're muted here, so you have to unmute yourself this.
Yeah. No, I'm listening to that. That's very interesting because Jay and I've been talking about what consciousness is. And it's interesting I'm listening very intently to your description of these things.
Right, that consciousness is not only the awareness, but it is also a power. And there is a power of awareness which may change things. Yeah, not power of awareness to leave things behind unchanged, but power of awareness which may change them, and transform them into their divine prototypes, into what they are really meant to be, rather than what they are now. So they are all, as we saw in our symbolic representations, that all are symbols. And they are symbols because they are not yet the divine embodiment in a full sense. That's why they are symbolic. Symbolic in the sense that they are not fully yet the divine. They're on the way to be the divine. So, and once they are, then they stop being symbols.
The power to understand them is a different way of seeing. You see the actual meaning behind the symbol, which is a inner seeing. And that also is dependent on the power behind the consciousness. If there is power behind the consciousness, that inner seeing begins to awaken and you understand the symbol. Is that how that works?
I think so. That awareness, so that we see behind every symbol some truth. And that truth, once we see, it's already a big step forward, because we want that thing to be that truth. Yeah? And for that, we need to make an offering. We have to take the thing and to offer it to the higher consciousness to make it. There will be a mutation, transformation. There will be a process of change.
Yes.
The world will not stay the same anymore. We have an idea that by changing consciousness, the world will change. Yeah? So to say, we will see the same world this is very typical for our way of thinking. Yeah? So the world will be the same, but the consciousness will change. And because it will change, we will see another world. And that's it. That's the end of the story. And this is not so. So the consciousness will change, and then the world will start changing. And that will take time. That is the process, that instruments become more and more suitable for that consciousness. It takes, and that is the evolution of the instruments to embody the higher consciousness. So the instruments also are to change.
Yes. When you mention power as a part of Agni, is there also the element of love coming when we talk about the offering?
Right. What is love, actually? Right. If you think of it, so if you have consciousness and power, would you have love as a result? What do you think?
Yes, of course. Because it's a union of power and consciousness.
Right.
That creates love.
It creates that bliss, at least,
Yes.
which we call love. Love may be even something more, something more intense. Maybe it's from another kind of dimension, which will be manifested later. As Sri Aurobindo says, not all the powers of the mother are manifested now in this universe. There will be more powers coming. Maybe that something we refer to, but bliss, yes, bliss, when you have total correspondence of consciousness and power, then you're totally in bliss, definitely.
In Savitri, she says that when I have known all, I will love all, something to that effect. She tells death. So, it is the union of these two brings about the understanding, and that is love. Love is understanding, the acceptance, the tolerance, the union.
Right.
She talks about Savitri.
Yes, love and oneness. Yeah, remember, there's this.
Yes.
To live is to love, and to feel oneness is to live. Yes, this is the only truth I know or say.
Yes.
This is the last message of Savitri.
Yes.
And what is this to love and to feel oneness? Why they're both? Why two? Not just to love. Why to feel oneness also? And this is interesting because these two elements, one is more intensely subjective love. Yeah? It's psychic, giving oneself, loving really, subjectively, individually. And the other is to feel the oneness of all the beings. It's more spiritual, so to say. One is psychic, other is spiritual. And these two elements are absolutely needed. Love is a mysterious thing. It's something from Purushottama, I think. Bliss is a bit different, yeah?
Mm.
Bliss is more a result of harmony of consciousness and power.
Mm.
And love is plus to it, something else, yeah? There's some truth of the personality there. At least I feel like this, I do not know. But we can call bliss and love, they are kind of synonyms for now, to make it easier. Right. Okay, number 7. Yo Vishvatach supratikach sadring asi dure chitsan tadit ivati rochase ratriashchid andach atideva pashyasi agne sakye marashama vayamtava. The faces of this God are everywhere, and he fronts all things perfectly. He has the eye and the vision. When we see him from afar, yet he seems near to us, so brilliantly he shines across the gulfs. He sees beyond the darkness of our night, for his vision is divine. With him for friend, we cannot come to harm. Sri Aurobindo kind of unfolds the meaning. You know? He does not translate literally. Let us go literal, word by word. Yahu Vishvatach from every side, Supratikach with perfect, beautiful face, facing from all sides. Sadring Asi, together with the vision. You know? Together with the seeing, with sight, durechit, and if he is far, durechit san, when he is far, or if he is far, tadit iva, he is like a lightning, atirojase, shining through. Ratriashchit andhach, he atideva pashyasi, you, O God, see through the blind darkness of the night. Agne sakhi mar shama vayantava. With him for friend, we cannot come to harm. So he has that capacity to look through the blind darkness of the night. And this is something, you know? So nobody can really make him blind, make him not be seen even through the deepest, the blind darkness of the night. Andhas, ratriyah, andhas, yes, the blindness of the night.
It is a direct reference to consciousness, which is conscious even though there is darkness around. You know, it's not dependent on light and dark. Consciousness is just awareness, regardless of time and space. That's why Sri Aurobindo said the mother is always watching you, because her consciousness is everywhere. So, in that sense, the seeing, I think, I don't know. I'm just trying to ask if that is the sight he's referring to, the sight of consciousness.
Yes, definitely. This is consciousness, and
Which
but
is
what
all
is
seen.
interesting is that the darkness is also consciousness, yes, absence of consciousness. It's
Absence.
that light of consciousness which turned to be darkness. And there is a blind darkness, deep, yeah? And still Agni, as a power of consciousness,
I see.
has this capacity to pierce through and to be seen through blind darkness as lightning, as if. Because Agni is involved in the darkness. He is the immortal among mortals. He is not the light which comes from above and illumines the darkness, showing us, oh, there is a deep darkness. No, he is from within the darkness, piercing the darkness through, can be seen through. So within the darkness, in the depth, at the bottom, there is the first avatar, Agni.
Yeah.
Who shines through, who pierces through the darkness and gives us the direction of the development. It was the second creation in our presentation, we saw it, yes? The plunge of the
Yes.
consciousness into the darkness. It is him, the first avatar, who evolves from the depth of the darkness. And he can see through the darkness. So darkness cannot stop him, cannot blind him. He has that capacity of seeing, that means consciousness in this case. Yeah? Sees through the darkness. We can't see through the darkness without him. We will be blinded in that realm, yeah? If we don't have his presence in us, the divine presence. We need the divine consciousness to look through the darkness. All right. This is a mysterious thing, of course, looking through the darkness, through the blindness of the darkness even. In Savitri, Sri Aurobindo describes the depth of the darkness where the soul disappears and removed from the list of existent ones. There is such a depth of darkness where even our soul, who is the light, who is the spark of this fire, but this fire is a universal consciousness, yeah, which supports all the sparks. It is the son of Rudra, Shiva, who on his shoulders holds the whole inconscient and the whole nature. So within that darkness, in the depth, if we break through, there will be a supreme light, the divine sun involved, Vivasvat. And I think that is the Rudra's action. Agni is the Rudra's action. Breaking through the darkness, seeing through the darkness, knowing what it is for, what it is doing there. And interestingly, when we go through this canto of the Mother of Evil and Sons of Darkness, we are now reading it, there are descriptions by Sri Aurobindo where he explains how that involved energy is pushing that darkness to self-awareness through pain, through those piercing jealousy, hate, all those elements which we don't want to have, is actually reviving the non-existent darkness, because it falls into oblivion. It becomes stiffened, and it needs only some kind of awakening. And awakening can take place only in that realm, only through pain, hate, jealousy, all those elements which we kind of try to avoid because they are harmful to us. They are very productive from that lower level, and they push the darkness to awaken to consciousness. Amazing. So everything has its place. And so this misplacement of those forces into our realm where we don't need them to push us forward, is actually becoming harmful to us. But on that level, on the lower level, it's absolutely necessary. And that is fire. Smoky fire. When it burns with a lot of smoke. And you don't want to have that fire. But otherwise, that thing, that karma, that desire inbuilt, yeah, that lust, that if that lust would not be in the darkness would never awaken to higher consciousness. So everything has its place in this divine economy. I don't know why I mentioned this. Maybe because of this andas, because this blind darkness of the night that he is piercing through, seeing through. But his action there will be very, very smoky and very burning, very painful. All right, we move to the number 8. Purvo deva bhavatu sunvato ratho asmakam shamsach abhi astu dudhiyah tad a janito ta pushyata vacho tad a janita utapushyata vachah agne sakhye marushama payantava. O you Godheads, let our chariot be always in front. Let our clear and strong word overcome all that thinks the falsehood. Interesting, huh? O you Godheads, know for us, know in us that truth, increase the speech that finds and utters it, that can express that truth. Within him, for friend, we cannot come to harm. We could see the connection from verse to verse. There is a development of some kind. If we follow carefully, we will see that it's not just random mantras, but they have a kind of developmental thought. So may our rathach, our movement, conscious movement, be first, or our is a asmakam, Sri Aurobindo uses it for both, says sunvatach, sunvatach of the one who presses soma, literally, of the one who gives and presses and distills his delight for the divine. May his radha be first, O gods. May his movement be in front, and our expression, asmakam shansach, abhi astu, may overcome dudhiyah, durdhiyah, the bad or imperfect concentrations of consciousness, imperfect thoughts, literally falsehood, Sri Aurobindo says. All that thinks the falsehood, interestingly, because he found the very important way of explaining durdhiyah. Durdhiyah, yes? It's not incapacity of focusing, it's actually a wrong focusing. When we focus our consciousness on wrong things, and then we are kind of inviting those forces more and more into our, and this happens, we know how it happens, you know? When we are worried about something, or we are kind of bewildered of something, or we are afraid, and we start pondering upon this, what I should do, what I would say, what should be done, and we more and more invite those worries, or what will happen to my health. This is a wrong thinking, wrong concentration. We think falsehood. So may he, it's amazing, remove those false thinkings, fixations, because once they are removed, whatever the result, we will be much better anyhow. can't be worse. We think that thinking through those problems, we will solve them. No, we just invite them. It's very applicable to the psychotherapy, that people come to the psychotherapist to share their problems. And they need to come every day at the end, not once a week anymore. But they have to be heard because they invited more and more. And so there is no solution there. The solution is to find and kindle the flame within us and distill the delight of our existence and offer that delight to the flame, that it may share that delight with Godheads other cosmic forces which are participating in this transformation. This is the way to go. We can't solve the problems by thinking about them. This was also the thing which we discussed in Oroville the other day, that I remember. This is from the Veda, actually. I was offering that solution, but nobody was listening. They wanted to solve the problems I said, but you created the problems which you want to solve. And more you will solve those problems, which are not our problems, the more problems that will be there to solve. So why to go the wrong route? Is it not better to go towards the mother's guidelines and to face the problems which she will be solving for us, and we will be solving together? But we will have to solve any of the problems, but better to solve those which come from the mother's path than from our own. But yeah, people thought I'm a little bit off. But it is true. We will have to solve the problems anyhow. But what problems, and how to solve them? Duriach, this is the word, yeah? Wrong concentration. Concentration on wrong problems, which are leading to more problems.
I just want to say that is so true. So true.
Yeah, if you look at our life, we see it all the time. Yeah, if we take the wrong concentration on a wrong problem to solve, it will bring more problems, which you have to solve afterwards, and you have to keep it all the time. It's like lying, lying and then remembering that you lied, because otherwise, if you forget, you may say the truth and then you will be discovered. Something of the kind. So it makes you heavy, burdened, and lost in all those, labyrinths of going.
Such a coincidence, Vladimir. In our organization, we were having similar problems, and this Einstein quote came up later on towards the end, saying that we can't solve problems from the same place where we created them. And then I was just wondering, unless the state of consciousness changes.
Yes.
That's excellent. I didn't know Einstein had addressed that issue. That's really brilliant.
Yeah. This
There's
is
a statement in the Bible that says, "Lean not unto thine own understanding." That is similar to this. When we use our own mental framework to work from, and if that has problems in it, then we just go around in circles with our own problems within the parameters of our consciousness. But we have to rise above and beyond that.
Yes, that's crucial, isn't it? To rise above and beyond the mental level, to see where, I think Sri Aurobindo says something about this I think it's in the synthesis, that rising above the dualities, rising above conflict where we can see where a higher vision where everything is one, and then that solves things for us.
Oh.
Yeah, it's better to do something which will lead us out to this sunlit path. Better to follow sunlit path and solve all those problems than to follow through, through the jungle, solving all those smaller problems which are exhausting. It's like a nightmare. You're fighting with forces and they are inexhaustible. You can't really conquer them. One problem leads to the other. You try to come out from this labyrinth and you go deeper into labyrinth. So there is no solution there, no way out, only to wake up and to start anew, just to kindle the flame, to rely on totally different force in us, instead of relying on that what is given to you to be solved. Yeah? So this is Agni. May they, those forces, divine forces which he invites as Avatar, know for us. Interesting. Yeah? Sri Aurobindo really makes it distinct. Know for us. Or you Godheads, know for us. Not we know. You know for us. Literally, you know within us. Make us knowledgeable by your presence and action. Know in us that truth. Increase the speech that finds and utters it. Interestingly, speech, the word, is not only expressing the truth, but also finding the truth. The word can lead you to the truth.
I've noticed in my life, when if I get into any kind of difficulty, if I ask the divine to inspire me, to fill my mind with the right thinking, the right thoughts, the right circumstances, that invariably that will happen. Intelligence will come to me that is not mine. And solutions to problems will happen that I didn't think of. So we can interact with this other world, this other force, intimately all the time. And if we exhaust our own possibilities, sometimes I exhaust my own possibilities first, and then it really drives the lesson home just how well this works, because by using our own devices, we get to know the limitations of them. And then when we ask for divine intervention and it works so beautifully, everything works so harmoniously. And that's not us doing it. So it's wonderful.
It's really wonderful. There is a friend who visits us these days, and he told me his story. He's a carpenter, and he was making somebody's roof, and he couldn't find the solution. Everything was messy, rainy, and wet, and this and that, and he couldn't find the solution how to make things work properly on the roof. Yeah, that the water will flow properly, and so it was a difficult situation. He said, okay, tell me what to do to the divine. And then suddenly, he says, through his consciousness, the vision came like this and this and that, and everything became clear to him. And when he did it, he put it into place, all those, construction, he felt absolute peace. This is how know in us works. There is a way to know in us. There are forces in us who know. Only we have to allow them to come to our surface consciousness, to inform us, to act upon us. It's beautiful. We don't trust it. We are very egoistic. We think that we may find our way. We know a lot already, how things work. And then our life becomes very boring, or some kind of, maybe not boring, but some kind of empty or flat. Or suppose I do everything and everything works out. So what? So what? Yeah? I lived, yes, I did this, I did that. And there's something missing, something fundamentally marvelous, which life represents, that, wonder of discovery, of growth of consciousness. If I'm realizing everything I want without the growth of consciousness, it's really not the thing. Anyhow, this is what it is. Know in us and grow, or make in us the expression of consciousness, or Sri Aurobindo says even, speech that finds and utters the truth. And this finds the truth is interesting, because we will have to speak the word which will lead us to the truth. So there is something in us, like an aspiration within the heart, and that's why it is considered that the mantra Brahman is rising from the depth of the heart, from the ocean heart, as a wave of delight. It is the word, actually, which is invoking the proper powers, divine powers, to interact and to engage. Yeah? So this word can find the truth, can find what is needed, and express it. Express it, so it has two functions: to connect to the truth, and then to express it, to manifest that truth. An interesting ajanita. Ajanita is with a prefix, has this ajna root, command. Literally, not only know in us, as Sri Aurobindo writes, but know in us by power, so to say. Know in us by applying the action. Yeah? Because ajanita, with ajna, it has this sense, ajna chakra, there's also the chakra of will, of command. Ajna is also command. Literally, we can translate command in us and grow the expression of the truth, or will in us. Will as know and will together. Yeah? Become aware of your power in us. Oh, I found a new expression. Become aware of your power in us and give us the expression of the truth. Okay, we can stop here today. We will have a few more, not to overload thinking. And if you have something to share, please. We have Praveen with us. Praveen joined us. Yes, Praveen, are you here?
Good morning, Vladimir. Thanks. I think that was really great.
Yeah, I told you Rigveda would be marvelous. It's something which is very rare in the literature. It's not even Upanishads, not even the Gita, though they have their own power and vision and beauty. It is something else altogether, grand and vast and archetypal. No? We have it with us Ludmila also from Moscow, nice. Anna also from Philadelphia. Stacy in the morning, early in the morning from California. You want to say something? No? Maybe it's too early to say.
I was just going to say, I really have enjoyed. I know I never turned my camera on, but I just am engaged with you and I really love the conversation. And today's especially was just beautiful for me. It's things I'd been thinking myself for the last couple of weeks and it just really hit me. So I appreciate everybody's willingness to share and have that dialogue because it really means a lot to me.
Thank you, Stacy. Yeah, for us all, yes, I think.
Regarding mentally tackling our problems, I was reflecting on that, and I recall that Sri Aurobindo says that the mind can only know itself. So if a problem has to be solved above the level of our intellect or our puzzling through things, we really need to access higher knowledge than what the mind is capable of, and offering it to the mother and aspiring, as Robin was describing, finding so many solutions to complex problems in that way, things that are beyond our usual mental range. I think that's really wonderful.
Right.
Also, Vladimir, I mean, when I think in the previous verse or somewhere, you were talking about, the consciousness rising up above the darkness. And I remember in the Jyotisha circle, in the Brihad Parashara Hora Shastra, there was one scholar who was explaining about a mantra for sun. And that apparently is actually also is from the Rig Veda. And the translation of that also seems to be very much similar to what you have shared today. I just shared the mantra, and I would like to know if this is from the Rig Veda and if this is very close to the previous mantra also.
Yeah, it must be from the Rig Veda. You can read it if you know it.
Yeah, I've just shared it in the chat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, let me see then. Savita divine comes forth with golden chariot, and yes, it is from 135. I can even recognize brilliant and more. Yes, it's 135 by Hiranya on Girasa. Yes, hymn to Savitar. Yes. You see that light which rises from within the darkness is from the hidden sun. There is a hidden sun in the darkness, and this is the secret of the Veda, that in the deepest darkness there is a hidden transcendental light and power. But that has to be recovered. So the flame which is rising, as it is said, it is rising up from Vivasvat. Agni is rising up from Vivasvat. Can you imagine how Vivasvat, if Vivasvat is the lord of the sun, so how then Agni can rise up? Where up if the sun is above? So that seems that sun is not above but below. And from there the Agni, the flame, is rising and piercing through and looking through the darkness. This is the whole inconsistency with the post-Vedic literature. The Veda has this knowledge which the post-Vedic literature lost. We look at the darkness as total darkness below and light as above, so we have to go above, don't go below. Yeah? So this is the whole idea of liberation. Leave the darkness to itself, don't touch it. In the Veda, it's not like that. It is understood that the darkness is actually across the path of the divine event. Yeah? As Sri Aurobindo starts his Savitri, a cross, it is not the end of the story. Yeah? It is the on the path, yeah, which we have to cross. Across the path of the divine event, a huge foreboding mind of night alone in her unlit temple of eternity lay stretched, immobile upon silence march. So this has to be crossed. Night is not our beginning nor our end, is another verse from Savitri. We come to her from the supernal light, and by light we live, and to the light we go. So it is something we have to cross. It's and that is, this knowledge comes from the Veda, which is nowhere found afterwards. I mean, nowhere really. There are remnants here and there of some transformation and application, but not really a total transformation. Not this archetypal vision. Yes, all right, great. We can look into that hymn of Savitar, to those few verses next time, just to see how it is. Great, so we can stop here for today, and I close with mantra. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We missed today Kinshuk and Gita Shri, but maybe they were busy with something. See you next time. Bye.